biggest dose, and they want, how, and he goes, well, what have you used? I've never used it, I want the biggest dose I can buy. But people are that intrigued by it because they've heard about what it will help people, what it's helped their friends with. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the quality. Now there's a picture here of about 2 quarts of this highly concentrated oil that we pull from the plant. CBD is highly concentrated, and this is a clear distillate, and this is so concentrated that this will make about 25,000 units of product. This is just nothing but pure concentrated CBD, full spectrum CBD. And it's really fun to see how this can help people, but it only helps people, you guys, if it's high quality, and Cann I Be is. And I want to go over today about some of the testing procedures that we have to go through to ensure that Cann I Be is a top quality product compared to anyone. And we only want to provide you with something that will compete against anyone in the nation. So what's a little bit different is our farmers, before they even plant in the fields, and they planted about June this year, and Ann, it was exciting, Ann and some of the team came over, but they will, before they even plant in the fields, you guys, they will actually test the soil to make sure there's no residual pesticides or heavy metals, and they get their soil all tested. Once it passed testing, then they go ahead and plant. Then they go ahead and they work all year long growing this plant, and we work with the largest growers in Colorado, and we help give them these organic nutrients that we bring from Utah so they can have incredible yield and they're very healthy plants. But then before they can harvest, the state has to come out and they have to make sure that they're under 0.3 THC. Now, 0.3 THC, to give you an understanding of how much THC is in the plant, like a good marijuana, to get high, they have 30%. This is 1/3 of 1% in the plant. And if it tests higher than that, the Department of Agriculture will light a match and burn the whole field right in front of the farmer. It's all their work literally up in smoke. So, but if it's under that 0.3 THC, it's considered industrial hemp. And even though it's a sister plant, it looks and smells kind of like the other plant, but it's a different plant and classified as industrial hemp. And so it has to go through all this testing. Then we bring it in our facility. Once they've proved that the farmer is a licensed farmer, he's got approved product from the Department of Agriculture that's tested under that 0.3 THC, we bring it in our facilities. We extract different than anyone in the nation so that you get a product that's different than anyone else in the nation. I talked a little bit about the farmers. It's really interesting on the farmers, though. Let me back up for a second. They actually treat these babies. They start growing them before they put them in the ground. They do clones, and they also do seedlings, and they have this room that they call the NICU. They really treat them as their babies. And they just have thousands and thousands of these little babies, and they hand plant them, and then they take care of these guys because this is really helping the American farmer in a way that I haven't seen a product. An alfalfa farmer can maybe make somewhere in the neighborhoods of $300 to $500 per acre, and this is what this product is doing now that we've legalized it and know the difference between hemp and marijuana. The average farmer can make 10 to 20 times more than he would on alfalfa. So it is helping the American farmer turn the corner and do things they haven't done before. So I was a little naive back in the 80s when I was growing up. I thought that this little plant, the little 5 leaves, I thought that's where my friends were using. It's actually the flower, the bud. And that's where these CBD crystals are formed and where we extract. And you need to know, we work with the best farmers that literally produce these high strains of CBD. And I say high strains, once again, it's not THC. This plant is genetically, it's just engineered, just like orange juice is made to make orange juice and a lemon can make lemonade. They're very different. This produces incredible CBD, but it has also over 100 other cannabinoids. And these cannabinoids are found on the bud. And they're really gorgeous to look at because you put them up to the light and they kind of shine and sparkle. You can see these crystals, and they're just these CBD, well, they're cannabinoid crystals, but that's where all the power is found, is in these flowers. Then we go to an extraction process where we pull out these oils, and this is just a picture of, let me jump forward here. We do something that's really unique. We use a 200 proof alcohol that's considered grass, generally regarded safe, and we use this alcohol, and alcohol's a sponge, and then there's a way to separate it. And so what we do is we soak this flower, and what's different is we do it with nitrogen. We go to 60 below zero. And by extracting the flower at 60 below zero, the alcohol acts like a sponge, and it'll pull certain things out. And you don't want the plant waxes or chlorophyll. You just want nothing but the cannabinoids and the terpenes. And those are what give you this powerful effect that literally, if you use it, you can feel a difference within the next 10 to 15 minutes. But we do it at 60 below zero, and no one else in the industry does that because they think, oh, we can either reprocess it with some other chemicals later. And we just use a complete organic alcohol and extract it and pull these wonderful nutrients. And because we do it at 70 below or 60 below, no one else does that in the industry. And we get a unique, different product. But what happens is then we can collect and separate that alcohol from the CBD. And what we're left with is this full spectrum CBD that is so powerful. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the different kinds of CBD, guys. There's CBD isolate, there's CBD broad spectrum, and then there's CBD full spectrum. If we want to go back to just the isolate, the reason that was originally created was because there was absolutely zero THC. They use these chemicals, unbelievable how they separate the CBD out, guys. It was scary, and that was when it was back in the black and gray market. They would use things like acetone and all kinds of these crazy chemicals to try to separate it out. And in the supplement industry, you don't want to give somebody that's using something for their health, and you know that's had these nasty, nasty chemicals in it. And so the only way they can do this isolate is by using these harsh chemicals. And actually, it's the same with the broad spectrum. They actually use what's called chromatography. They use these chemicals, heptane, pexane, and acetone, and they separate them all out, and then they try to leave the THC out and then put them all back together. The best product by far is full spectrum because it has all of the cannabinoids. It's never been exposed to anything but alcohol, which is grass, certified safe by the US FDA. And it has all the cannabinoids and it has the terpenes. Now, this product that you have with Cann I Be is all the cannabinoids. I've had people look at me or look at our lab results and say, I haven't seen another product anywhere in the nation that has this full profile of all these cannabinoids, because this is what you need to understand. CBD gets all of the credit, but it's actually the other cannabinoids that do all the work. The doctors in Israel coined the term entourage effect. Has anyone heard the term entourage effect? Basically, it says that all these cannabinoids work together in the plant naturally the way Mother Nature intended us to get it. And if you look up entourage effect, you'll see where the doctors explain all of the cannabinoids, all of the terpenes working together is what makes CBD powerful. It's not just CBD. So if somebody says to me, I've tried CBD, or if someone ever says to you, I've tried CBD and it never helps me relax or it never helps me sleep, you can say, well, you used an isolate. You've never used a full spectrum, because it's actually not CBD that helps you sleep, it's CBN. And unless you've had a full spectrum product, it's not going to help you rest, not help you get any sleep. So CBD gets the credit, but having these full spectrum, that's why it's so much more powerful in this form. So, it frustrates me, frankly, of all the people that are selling this kind of isolate and calling it a CBD or calling it a product. And there's a lot of people out there, guys, that are pulling the wool over the consumer's eyes and selling an inferior product. And this full spectrum is the superior product. It will help people, and if you just talk about it and say, oh, I'm involved, I've done this, people will come to you and it'll blow your mind how people will start. All of a sudden, I've gone from being at church to that's the guy that's in the pot business in Colorado, to now people are sitting next to me, I need to get this from my grandpa. Can you help me with this? It's like totally changed. The stereotypes just fallen by the wayside. But it's exciting to see people benefit in their health. And so it's a neat thing to be a part of, you guys. The THC, if everyone ever says to you, oh, well, does yours have THC? The answer is, you have to be honest, yes, and there's a good reason for it. It's less than 0.3, but the THC actually helps, guys, open the blood-brain barrier so that the CBD can go do its job. And so you actually need a little bit of THC. And frankly, where did I learn that? I learned that from a gentleman by the name of Dr. Brett Earl. He was like, Dave, you have to have a little bit, and that's really one of the differences between an isolate and a full spectrum. THC, even in these small amounts that won't get you high, it helps open the blood-brain barrier so CBD can do its part. This will not get you high, guys. People, I had to tell my mom when I was involved, because I'm like, Mom, I'm shifting from minerals to CBD, and she's like, what? And I said, cannabis, but not, and I had to kind of walk her back and forth, and finally, she tried it, and now she's like, I'm out, honey, can I get some more Cann I Be? I mean, she's like, just calling me, and just, but it's fun to see it work in people's lives. Once again, you guys, I would put Cann I Be up against any product in the nation, and I think you should be proud to be a part of a company that saw where this industry was going. Because I'm telling you, after 20 years in the industry of supplements, I saw that this was going to be the next supplement of the next 25 years, not the next 2 weeks, 2 years. And I am so excited that when I went to lunch with Ann, she jumped all of it and she goes, Dave, we've already been researching this for 6 months. And I'm like, that's how far ahead this team at Posh works. They saw also that this was going to be the next nutrient of the next 25 years. They saw the opportunity for your business, and I'm just excited. So anyway, thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?